welcome to website development training with BSF Tech. In today's tutorial, I want to consider how to use Bootstrap to create layouts such as what you're seeing on your screen. Alright, so this is a kind of layout system which you can use Bootstrap to achieve. By layout, I mean the way you position things, how your page is structured. Okay, yeah. Of course, in a very simple web page, the layouts can be so simple with just 2 columns, while in some you can just have a single column, or depending, especially for a blog, you could have different columns mixed together, and generally that's the approach for most web applications. So we'll see how to achieve these 3 types, and with this you have a full understanding on how to go on doing other things. Okay, alright, so let's get started. Okay, let's first of all go open create a file. Already we've created it for this project. Call it Introduction to Bootstrap. This is a continuation from where we left off, which was Introduction to CSS. You should have the video by now before having this. So let's start. We are using VS Code, so with VS Code we could have all to complete. Now from my screen you can see I moved to the HTML5 suggestion, and I click enter. It will automatically fill it with the right coding for me. So I move on to the body part of it. I wrap it with a div. I usually wrap it with a div, especially if I'm going to be using JavaScript frameworks such as UJS and the like. So we normally wrap body in a template, or we wrap, but rather we use a single wrapper outermost, and then we do the other thing inside. Okay, so in this tutorial I will first of all create what we have here, this 2 column layout. So to create a 2 column layout, let us give this a class of wrapper, so we know that's just a wrapper, and we're not referencing it as much. So we create another div. To create a div with a class pre-filled for you, just write div dot the class name which you want to use. We want to use container. You can see what it has done. Then I move my cursor to, it will move your cursor to between, and you create and click enter. Now this container that you see here is a class that is defined by Bootstrap in their CSS file. So by default, if you use it, it means it's a layout container. Okay, so what next you do immediately after, what next you can do is to have a row, that is a class of row after it. Alright, I do it this way, and I get this with the class and row, class of row stated for me. I click enter. Immediately after a row, always ensure that you follow it by column. Don't write any other tag or elements like h1, that is header 1, header 2, header 3, heading 1, heading 2, heading 3. It won't be a wise thing. Don't put a button in immediately. No, start with a div code, and this your code could be anything depending on where you want to have a breakpoint. Okay, so I'll do it called 6. This code 6 means for even mobile device, which is the very first thing. It's mobile first. Bootstrap is designed using mobile first importance or priority. So what that means is, for mobile device, the column will, this particular column, this particular div will be half of the total layout, because I use col 6. It is so because the total number of column value you should have in a row should not exceed 12. It should be 12. So if I put another 6, then this will take the first col and the second will take the other col. So we'll have 2 columns in a row in the first row. So let us see how things are done. So in this one, I'll just go ahead and use a card and div.card class. Understand? In it, I'll have div.card body. I want to use a card, so let's call this. Let's put some h1. Oh, sorry, h2. Yeah, h2. Sorry, h2. What's the name? Column 1. Alright, then I put my paragraph. This is the first column, and it should appear by the left. Okay, I can do the same thing, copy this, come to this to there, and what I have is I'll call this column 2, second column. Okay, this is pretty much okay. You can see how the two styles are, how the column is arranged, 2 columns in a row. We could have more than this. Okay, we could have more than this. However, let us see how it looks in the browser. Yeah, this is for a mobile device. I'm using Nexus 5. Okay, to view it, this is how it looks. If I use Nexus 5X, this is how it looks. If I use iPhone 5XE, this is how it looks. If I use iPhone this is how it looks. So it's always good to inspect how your design will look in the browser. You can see all mobile devices are showing 2 columns, 2 columns, 2 columns. That's because of the breakpoint we use, which is the if you use col with a number from Bootstrap 4.0 version upward, what will happen is it will target mobile devices. Now let us change that and use SN, which means on mobile devices it won't break. It won't have 2 columns. These 2 columns will start. You can see in mobile device it's now having 1 column per row, and it's not looking too good because the columns are just the cards are just almost overlapping, that is touching each other, and that's not a good design concept or strategy. So but hope you get the full understanding. Now you can see on laptop or for laptop or medium screen, it's 2 column. For tab like Microsoft Lumia, it's 2 columns. For Moto G4, it's single columns. For other smaller devices as well, it's single column. So that's just basically what it is. And what have we been able to achieve in this? We've been able to achieve what? Using CSS to do our style, and as well using some of its predefined classes such as the button and button colors to do some things. For instance, this is that and that. Alright, so at this juncture, we can test with other devices. For you to add more devices, you come to this place and you go to edit. You'll be able to add as much devices as you want. Okay, so that's because I'm using Chrome. So if you use a browser that you are comfortable with and that you can work with, that's just it. So so that we've come to the end of this under layout. Okay, let us touch some example before we wrap it up. So instead of using this, I'll just, instead of using a single row as this, let us define another row. Okay, I want to define another row. I copy this, I come second row below. Alright, so I want to use, how about if I need a three column row? What do? I make each 4 if I want them to be of equal size. Okay, and I make this order, that is each of them 4. Copy this as well, copy, paste, 4, 4, 4. Of course, we've just said SM and all of that, so it's not going to show on mobile device as that. Okay, I think you can see this. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. About for mobile device, of course, we're not expecting to have any significant rows styling, so you get that. Alright, we could as well have different sizes for each column, but remember the sum total must not exceed 12. So in this first case, I want to use this first to be 4, or let's say 3. So you see difference. 3 plus 5 gives us 8, so I'll need 4 more. So instead of that, I'll use 2, and I'll use 7. Yeah, it's not looking like the kind of, okay, let us use 7 here and use 2 here. Different sides, you can see how it looks. I think I'm not so happy with the way the styles are. I will go and define my own style and see for each row, have a margin bottom of this of 30 pixels. So 30 what pixel. Save and reload. Alright, we now have what I want. So this could be our side menu, this could be something, this could be short ads or whatever you want to do at the third column. Second column be the main content if it's a blog, and column 1 is your nav links and whatever you want to use there. I believe you get the full idea now of using layout. Yeah. Okay, so this is basically how to lay out items. It's also to include, before we round it up. So let's go to the browser. I hope you can see when you refresh, this is what you have. Now to also make balance things up before we finish it in this tutorial, let us also talk about nesting what are layouts. It is nesting some columns, and so it's a good place to nest to be in this code. So in this code 7, I'll take this off and start with a div row. No need to start with a container when you are inside, okay? So and then what I'll do next is say div called sm give me 6. So I put some text. Alright. Okay, let us call this a card. Div.card. Okay, let's just put heading 2, heading 3 in a nested column, and let's find another div that's called sm 6 as well. Now let us use different sizes. So I have 5, then I should have 7 here. Remember, even in the nested div, you still use the same rule, which is sum of all the code values should not exceed 12. Nested code. So I call this nested colon. Nested colon 2. Loop. Have you seen it? Yeah. Okay. I hope you get the basic idea. Or rather, let us put the card back so you can visually see the effects. Call this card, and I call this browser. Call this card. So what I'm doing, I'm calling this card body. Hope you can see the effect. Yeah, this is, you can see the size of this. To this point, means this from this point, about this point to this point is 5, and this point to this point here where my mouse is what, 7. So that makes the balance. Alright, so hope you get the basic thing about layout and nested layout. So we've come to the end of this tutorial. Please follow us and refer your friends to also join and learning and having web skills in 2020. Alright, see you next time. Hello, welcome to